Dust is in my eyes, my blood is on the ground. Quiet little chuckle and the shuffling of the boots of the coward that shot me down. He turns toward the sunrise and I hear him softly say, I guess you've met your natural man as the colors fade to gray.
Howdy, partners. Dust and Blood is a rabble-rousing, rootin'-tootin', bronco-bustin' podcast not suitable for the ears of young'uns. Take a gander at the content warnings and listen with care.
Welcome to Dust and Blood, a narrative play podcast set in the wild, weird Fantasy West. I'm Blake, your GM, and our players are Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, and Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Last time on Dust and Blood, tensions emerged as Maz tried to take Carter's cursed gun, and the rest of the party opposed him. Jasper and Bonesaw bonded over their slipping memories. The group fought the Bone Jangles gang, and after a tense standoff with Carter, agreed to secretly help him escape. Hodges had just lunged at Carter to knock the gun out of his hand. It definitely was a bit of play acting on Carter's part. Hodges doesn't seem to have figured that out yet. He cleared the gun, dropped it, looks at all of you. It's still very much pre-dawn hours. The sky is just starting to brighten up blue, and he looks over at all of you and growls just, if you're going to be this bad about taking care of prisoners, I might actually try to escape from you.
Well, there's no real point in answering back to that, since he can't hear.
I can't hear you, you're deaf.
He turns around and walks, because...
Bonesaw still has these bulging muscles. He's even taller than normal, and he bends down to scoop Maz out of the little crick where he fell unconscious, and he carries him over to the cart. Jasper, do you mind? There's a little fold-down table on the side there, if you could unhook it.
No problem.
Bonesaw will lay Maz out and be like, all right, who needs healing?
Everybody's pretty roughed up at this point. Go ahead and roll a heal check for me, Bonesaw.
Okay, I got a 14.
Maz is the worst off. He's pretty much at 0 hit points. Myra's not doing too hot either. Jasper's doing okay. You're better than Myra, but not by much.
Bonesaw's gonna pull out his black leather doctor satchel and start pulling out some tools, including an actual bone saw. I am going to roll heal to treat deadly wounds.
Okay.
It's a DC 20. It takes an hour to treat someone. But if I succeed, then whoever I treat, they'll regain 4 hit points per level of their character, because it's my Unchained skill.
Okay.
Nice. What happens if you fail?
Explosions,
Nothing.
blood, death, Technicolor, everything.
Woo! Okay. Right on the dot.
Okay, I got a 20. I also get +2 for using the healer's kit. I have to expend 2 charges per person.
So it'd be 28 hit points back.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Gabby. That helps a lot.
Yeah. As he's working, cutting bandages and cleaning things off, no one can see his lips moving because he's got, of course, the Plague Doctor mask, and he says, we probably need to talk some strategy before I fix Avery's ears, and now might be a good time to do it. Well, he can't tell really that we're talking with each other.
Carter is a distance away from all of you at this point. He returned to kind of where he had been bedding down for the night. Hodges is also leaning against a rock, and he looks like he was trying to stay awake, but he kind of fell back asleep.
Well, that's handy. How does your healing work on positive energy challenged Americans?
I can actually heal both a living and undead with magic. I just figured I'd preserve our supplies somewhat. Given how much time we spent in Westland's little area, I'm a little concerned that Carter's gang might be on our tail. I don't really trust Leighton to hold them off for very long.
I agree.
Yep.
I have a really bad feeling that this deal of ours is going to immediately go out the window the second his gang catches up with us.
If we are on board with helping Carter, we're probably going to need some way to signal them that we're sort of on their side so they don't stick us before we get where we need to go.
I just hope that'll be enough.
Moz, throughout this process, you're starting to come to and you're able to contribute to the conversation.
Okay.
I have a feeling that whole payout might be in jeopardy given what the report on our conduct is likely to be.
Yeah, we did kind of a shitty job.
Ideally, we can convince them that Avery was really crazy and that it was the gun's fault, perhaps. I just hope not all the Pinkertons are as insane as he seems to be.
Well, that's a good hope, but I don't have much faith in that. I've heard a bit about these here Pinkerton fellas, and they're all, I think, just a mite short of a full deck.
Well, we probably ought to go straight to the railroad's office, then. They seem to be the only ones really keeping the Pinkertons in line, since they pay the bills.
I think that's our best course of action. They might be able to protect us from whatever nonsense the Pinkertons would unleash on us after returning Hodges in the state that he's in.
Myra, you wouldn't happen to have railroad connections we could use here, would you?
Yeah, I do. And she doesn't kick because she doesn't have legs, but she like takes a little tip of her tail and she like kicks a rock, kind of frustrated. And she's like, yeah, I have connections. It just only if it's our only option. If there's any other plan, any other idea, please speak now. Because I'd rather not go back to the railroads. But if we have to, then I guess we'll have to.
As long as Carter's at the short end of the stick, I'll be happy with whatever outcome.
Yeah, I don't know if... is Carter gonna be the short end of the stick?
They didn't pay us all this trouble for nothing.
Well, that whole negotiation seemed to kind of whirl around in my head like a Texas tornado, and I'm not quite sure where things landed when the wind blew down, but...
Well, we agreed to perhaps give him a little help getting out of the train. Perhaps we leave him with some lockpicks or something when we turn him over, and that's our exchange for the deal. I don't know how involved we're going to have to be if we have to meet with the gang or anything like that.
From what I understand, he is going to trial. He's not going to execution. And I am willing to testify that there was some sort of coercion going on. Is Smokey still a living, breathing horse?
You definitely had time for Smokey to bamf out.
Then that gun is out of reach, as far as I figure. So I feel comfortable mentioning it. I wasn't going to bring up the subject, as long as it was still grabbable by somebody. So I am willing to testify that there was some coercion going on account of that there cursed weapon.
My God, yes. Just clarify.
I don't know if that gun belongs to anybody but itself.
Moz is gonna be staring daggers at the back of Bonesaw's head.
I'm pretty sure you're still on the slab.
Yeah, you're
Boss.
still on the slab. This is happening during that hour of treating the wounds.
Bonesaw's like wrapping bandages over you. His Bonesaw off to the side. Just lay still, Moz. It won't hurt as much soon.
Watch where you put that thing. Ah!
Moz, just inquiring. You sort of left in the middle of the conversation. How would you feel if we were to help Carter, but then after we turned him in and then helped him escape, we could tip off the law, and then he would get caught anyway?
What's the benefit of helping a captive?
Well, he's not really so captive anymore.
Y'all let him get away?
Kinda.
Well, no, we had to make a deal so he wouldn't shoot us. And I'd rather not go back on the deal. We can if you want, but I feel like if his gang shows up, better to be all on the same side, yes? We could play along for now.
I'm all for testifying on his behalf, but I don't think I'm going to be jumping on into any moving trains or anything for the likes of that fella.
That seems fair.
In the end, Carter must pay. If you think that tipping him off afterwards is the best course, I'll defer to you.
Oh, that's very sweet, Mozzie. tightens bandage.
Wow, must be nice to be able to keep your conscience in somebody else's head.
The sheriff sits on Moz's chest.
Bonesaw reaches down to, like, pat his little head with his finger. Hello, the sheriff.
He says further back, scratch there.
Bonesaw obliges.
You all finish up the healing after about a couple of hours.
Are we getting a long rest during our travel?
You got your long rest the previous night.
Except Bonesaw, I think, who will probably sleep in the wagon during the day.
Okay.
Even with my ring of sustenance, which means I only need 2 hours of sleep to get a benefit of a long rest, would I have gotten that or no?
If you guys had taken 2 hours to sleep,
Would that have counted if I was in the wagon?
I will allow that.
Snuggle time!
You guys saddle up. Hodges wakes up. He looks as ornery as ever. He's still deaf, and he just looks at all of you and says, "So now what? Now that you're done partying with the prisoners, are you still going to keep me in these?" And he holds up his shackled hands.
You gonna behave yourself?
What?
I'll write that down.
He looks at the paper and says, "As much as you all have behaved."
I look to the others. That's good enough for me. How about you fellas? You folks.
If he gives us trouble, we can always just break his ears again.
Good as we're gonna get.
Well, it could get better if I removed his compulsion to go after the gun. But if you want to let him out, you can let him out.
Best to have the Pinkertons on our side for this one.
If that's still possible, yes.
Yep. All right. Who's got the keys to the manacles?
Bonesaw will twirl them around one finger, come over and unlock him.
Hodges rubs his wrists and says, "About damn time. Now give me my damn guns back."
I don't know about that.
Who's got his guns? Is that Bonesaw again?
Yeah, I guess so. He had picked them up and then shot Avery.
Yeah, that was one of his guns. Some of the stuff that you pulled off of him included a rifle that he had, a bunch of different types of bullets.
Are we really doing this? Are we giving him a gun back?
Moz is gonna step squarely in front of Hodges and ask, "Sheriff, we give him his guns back?"
The sheriff just gives a... Moz, you look down and you hear something.
I think we hold off on the guns. Best to keep it safe.
I don't know what that spooky ass frog is, but if there's a lot of weird shit that's happened in the past 24 hours, so I'm gonna go with what the frog just said.
I am going to write down so that Avery can see. I'm going to play good cop, bad cop here and say, if it was up to me, I'd give you your irons back. But I can't convince these folks that you won't go crazy with them.
Bunch of idiots. And he just kind of smacks the notepad and walks away to his horse.
That's my book. Dang, he got mud on King Lear.
Oh no. Boz, give
Dang
me
it.
a sleight of hand check.
Good.
16. Anybody who might be paying attention can give me a roll.
Bonesaw's asleep in the wagon, so I will not.
I'm gonna roll. Myra's paying attention because she actually wants to have a chat.
I'm only going to roll it because that's my crazy skill.
Everyone's so Hawkeye.
Carter also, oh no.
Can't do anything in this group.
Poor Maz just wants the gun.
You all see Jasper and Myra. As you all are getting around and starting to head out, taking the wagon, you see Maz take a minute by the shore of that little creek and appears to be just splashing mud all over something. You all begin to make your way north again. The path is fairly clear. You're heading north towards this mountain range that cuts across from what you were told, where you're going to meet up with some railroad folk, and then you'll be able to make your way through the mountains to the other side to Perdition. The day is fairly uneventful. The sun rises up high, starts to go down, and as you're continuing in this northern track, you begin to see more and more signs of the railroad coming through. Specifically, you start to see the gravel bed that is being built up becomes more prominent, specifically this track that is going to be where the train is going along. You start to see survey markers at regular intervals, signal that you're getting close. You begin to make your climb up, and as you do, it's starting to feel cold. And as you're climbing up into the mountains, a light snow begins to fall. Nothing unusual for this time of year. You continue to make your way following this track.
As the snow starts to fall, Myra gets shivers, and she's a cold-blooded creature, so she's not a big fan of this. And so she tries to keep herself warm by polishing her gun, but as she does it, she keeps looking upwards towards Maz. And then she can't really hold it back anymore, and then she goes, hey, Mozzie, could I talk to you for a minute?
I suppose.
Listen, what happened back there, me asking you to explain yourself, I actually wanted to apologize for that. I think it's a little... Well, everybody's got something that they don't want to talk about, and, you know, I get that. You can't always talk about what's going on in your life, but something I think you should really do, though, is keep the friends you have, because you don't have many. Bonesaw's been with you for a while, and I don't know what this gun is doing, but this whole Lone Ranger thing, not only is it bad for you, just playing it solo, it only works so far.
Now what makes you think I'm doing this on my lonesome? Got the sheriff right here with me every step of the way. Best friend there is.
Sonny, I gotta admit, I don't know what that frog is, and for all I know, that could be a god. But this isn't perfect. This is a giant clusterfuck. We've been through God knows what these first couple of days, but at least trust somebody in this group. Because I think we will do better together than separated, and you don't have to like me or Jasper, but at least give Bonesaw a bit of a chance, and at least try to patch things up with him. That's just my 2 cents. I think we're way out of our depth, and I think we need to start playing more together, myself included. And I can probably start by stop quizzing you. Whatever weird shit's going on with you, pal.
I'll take that advice into consideration. Here, hold this. He is going to give her just a small 3d6 fireball to keep her warm.
Aww.
Assuming that's permissible.
Yeah, you work it a little bit in your hand, not enough to activate it, but enough to kind of, for it to start, like, putting off a little bit of heat.
Myra's overjoyed, but she tries her best to keep her excitement down, and she's just like, oh, well, yeah, thanks, a nice goodwill gesture. I'm gonna hang on to this. Hey, Jasper, look what I got.
That's kind of like cutting a birthday cake with a claymore, but if it keeps you warm, that's good. That's good.
I was gonna say whatever works. I'll take it.
So things square between you and Maz there. I was not listening in.
Yeah, no, just me getting a bit of reality check on myself, and also just trying to keep some things together. We're dangerously falling apart, and not that I'm sentimental about y'all, but
Shucks, you can admit it. You love me. Everybody does. Give her a wink.
Myra just has this very unenthused face. No, pal.
While we're confabulating here, what do you think's going on with that frog? I have to admit, I am plumb mystified.
You know what? We've seen tree creatures, a nature goddess person that went up and out of the ground, stole my memory. We've seen dead people. Well, not dead people, but we've seen... Sorry, I keep forgetting.
I prefer vitally challenged American, but go ahead.
She met the Bojangles gang. She's like, we've seen a bunch of outlaw. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, they give a bad name to the rest of us. That's for darn sure.
And everything with Moz, I mean, there's definitely something going on with him, and I made a point to say that, some things are best left unsaid, but, I'm still cautious, so at the very least, keep an eye out on that thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's a philosopher who said that possibilities should not be multiplied unnecessarily. Thomas Occam, or William Occam, one of them figures. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I prefer to think that Moz is crazy rather than I think that frog is a god, but I'm willing to entertain possibilities.
He's really good at illusions. I'll give him that. So it may just be one giant illusion of a person who is crazy. But again, we've seen some weird stuff these past couple of days. I'd rather not push it.
Oh, good Lord, what if the frog is real and Moz is the illusion? I'm just joshing you.
Myra actually looks back and she kind of seriously considers this. It's like, is there a frog?
I'm sorry. I'm feeling a mite alive this morning. I don't know why. Anyway, take a look around here. What are our lines of sight here?
Give me a survival check. Or a knowledge geography. Either one.
I'll go with survival because I found it first, and it's a good roll.
Alright, 16. Fantastic. You're climbing significantly to go up into these mountains, and from what you can tell, this is probably the easiest path, though it's still not easy. It's going up into a little bit of a pass. You have decent sight lines as you're going around. There's a nice wide canyon up on both sides. You have a good amount of space before it really starts going steep up the mountains. Wider than a lot of grades you usually see in these kinds of mountains for trains. You suspect that it's already been prepared a little bit in this area.
Well, we are getting into places where the terrain is going to get a mite tangled, and that might be a good place for Carter's gang to try and bushwhack us. Keep a weather eye out, if you don't mind.
What is Carter doing right now?
Carter is actually walking towards the front of y'all's group. You get the sense that, and this is something that's been happening kind of throughout the trip, that he always tries to initially distance himself from Avery, but then Avery rides his horse right next to Carter, and then eventually Carter just kind of says screw it and walks as usual. In particular, what he's doing now is talking out of the side of his mouth and making a lot of aspersions towards Avery that would be ill-advised if Avery could hear. It's a lot of besmirching his work as a Pinkerton, his personality, some about his hygiene, particularly how he trims his horns, that kind of stuff. You can roll a sense motive if you'd like.
Always.
Oh, shit!
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Okay.
boy.
Ooh. You are able to tell that a lot of this patter is him covering up for him keeping a dead eye on pretty much the entire situation. He is paying attention to where each of you are located. He appears to be listening in on all of the conversations going on behind him. I will also say, with a nat 20 sense motive, you're able to tell he has been doing this pretty much since the fight wound down. He never fell asleep. He's probably been listening.
Myra nudges Jasper, and she goes I have a feeling that Carter's actually been paying attention to every single thing that's been going on.
Yeah.
And if he can hear me, I would suggest that he cut it out, because he ain't getting nowhere. Well, at least not with our deal.
His tail flicks back at you.
Yeah, you heard me.
You all continue, and you eventually begin to see, rather than just the leveled grade, you begin to see actual wood slats on the ground. And these wood slats begin to give way to metal rails off to the side, basically out of the way, ready to be placed. As you begin to approach this work camp, you begin to see smoke rising up. The trees all in this area are cut down. It's clear that this place has been prepared for the railroad coming through, and you begin to approach this work camp. You go through a couple of tunnels that have been cut out. They're all pretty small and thin, and you finally begin to walk through several of the tent areas. It's about midday, so you see a bunch of the workers on the railroad. It looks like it is brutally hard work. There are a bunch of Chinese immigrants working on the railroad. That appears to be the majority of the people working in this area, but you see pretty much everyone. You see some elves, you see some big full-blooded orcs, Chinese, dragonborn with the long mustaches and hair, very slender and tall compared to their Western brethren. And throughout this mixture, you see wearing long, dark dusters, purple headbands wrapped around their head, lots of weapons at their side, carrying shotguns. You see several gnolls that appear to be walking around, and as you're walking through, they all look up, and you hear their giggling laugh speech that appears to be passing a message up the line. Does anybody here speak Gnoll?
No.
Nope.
Not since high school.
Wow, very fashionable.
I like having dynamite in a holster.
Yeah, they're all carrying dynamite on them.
That shows a certain amount of preparedness.
You definitely get the sense as you're approaching, you're causing a bit of a stir. Work appears to be stopping, kind of following as you're going, as these people look up and see your ragtag group before the gnolls kind of nudge them on back to work in not too savory terms.
Myra gets real close to Carter and kind of like whispers in his ear, "All right, now you really got to sell the whole prisoner bit. You know, if these suckers find out, we're going to be in major trouble, so don't be a smartass."
You hear a shout. Does anybody here speak Mandarin?
Bonesaw does, but he's still in the wagon.
Oh, at this point, it's been 8 hours.
Oh, okay. Then Bonesaw will emerge. He's much less muscly than before. His clothes are pooling around him again.
Well, who's driving the wagon?
Probably me.
Okay. Then our conversation will have taken place while I was sitting next to you, I guess.
You all hear a shout go out from further up near one of the tunnels. Baoza! Which the only person who is able to understand.
Steamed buns?
No. I definitely mispronounced it. Explosion.
Oh.
About 5 seconds later, you all hear whoom as a massive amount of dynamite goes off in one of the tunnels. Clearly you are entering into a active work site.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's fun.
That's dangerous.
One of the workers approaches all of you. It's a tall, golden Chinese dragonborn, and he speaks at all of you in Mandarin, saying, "Ni hao ma, are you all here for work or are you passing through?"
Aw, we're here for food. Do you have lunch?
He looks confused, looks around, and then says, "You might want to talk to the boss over at the offices. Ask for Helen."
Oh, Shisha, we'll do that.
Shisha.
He turns to the rest of you and says, "They have lunch in the boss's office. Her name's Helen."
Wait a second now. Not having had a lot of experience with Chinese Dragonborn, I hope that the lunch is not named Helen. Because I did not quite get that from what you were saying there. They have lunch, her name's Helen.
Whatever it is, it can't be as bad as Myra's cooking.
Bonesaw avoids looking at Myra.
She doesn't hear any of this.
You all notice that you're gathering a couple of these gnolls following you.
I figured we were going to eat our own rations, but if you want to have work gang chow...
Well, I'm out, so we need to pick up food.
Yeah, that's not such a bad idea.
You got a whole wagon. How'd you run out of food? I still got food.
Oh, it's all potions.
Listen, I'm usually in town, all right? I didn't plan for a detour into the Fey realms.
Oh, well, there is that.
All kinds of supplies, just not food.
Well, it might be possible then to talk to this Helen and see about replenishing your stores.
Let's do that.
But yeah, let's go get ourselves some, probably I'm imagining hardtack, hard bacon, hard water.
Let's just say when it comes to prep, Bonesaw's excellent at improvising, but terrible at stage plays.
Well, improvisation is a valuable skill. How many days have we been traveling?
I believe this is the 5th day.
Oh, well, then I'm just playing out myself. That was my 5th day of trail rations.
I had 10 days worth because I figured we'd get lost or something.
I've ticked them off when we've said it explicitly. I have not been keeping track otherwise, though.
Myra, you wouldn't happen to know this Helen, would you?
Do I know this Helen?
Make a knowledge nobility check.
I do not have it.
You do not recognize this name.
Okay.
Just the first name of Helen. There's a lot of Helens.
Yeah, I don't quite know, but I guess, only one way to find out. And by the way, I do have some trail rations. I have about 3 of them left over. So if anybody's in dire need for some extra rations, I can hand out like 1 or 2. But yeah, let's go meet this Helen. Hopefully she can help us out.
You guys make your way through one more of the tunnels. You hear more explosions and shouts throughout before you guys finally come across the first permanent building that you found in this area. There's a stack of storage supplies nearby, an entire massive mound of rails that have been stacked up ready for delivery. There's wood logs off to the side, and you see a woman, definitely not dressed for the cold weather. She's standing around in a purple vest, holding a rifle on her shoulder, chewing at an apple that is stuck on the end of a knife, just kind of eating it. And you all can tell that she is an elf. She has long pointed ears. Her eyes are the full purple of a full-blooded elf. She has a couple of tattoos on her arms, and she's talking with a couple of the gnolls. And if they don't hurry up, we're going to be behind schedule. I don't care if you have to beat the workers to make them move faster, but do what you need to do. I'm not going to have to hear an earful from that snake again. She shuffles off the gnoll that she was talking to, looks up at all of you and says, "Well, this is not something I expected to see for a while."
We heard there'd be lunch. Is that inside or...
She snorts with laughter and says, "Really, that's how you're all going to introduce yourselves? No pleasantries, just ride into my camp and demand food? So improper."
Well, I wouldn't say demand. We do have some trade goods if you're willing to make a bargain.
We're also working for the Diamondbacks currently. We're actually transporting a prisoner.
That's enough there, Myra. We're here for food, nothing more, nothing less.
The woman, who you presume is Helen, says, "Transporting a prisoner, huh?" You see her eyes kind of dart between all of you. He rolls something for her.
Why'd you have to say anything?
I thought they knew. They hired us to do this in the first place. Does it have to be a secret? Is this a secret?
I mean, we were going to potentially get help from them.
Yeah.
She says, "Honestly, thought you all were dead. We knew that there was supposed to be some sort of prisoner convoy coming through. Didn't realize that. Who'd you all be transporting here, though?" Funny. Excuse me, where are my manners? I'm Helen Blackburn.
Ooh, Oh,
You
shit.
might have heard of me.
That's the original, like, family that Carter feuded with before he became a criminal, right? The Blackburns, because they were going to take
Yes.
over the town and Carter was defending the local farmers.
Oopsies, maybe I really should have shut my mouth.
Okay, yeah, Myra, you got a nat 20
Oh, hey,
on
how
your
about that?
knowledge nobility. Now that you've heard the name Helen Blackburn, you know who this is.
Ooh, Jasper's just shy.
I'm thinking, Helen, I knew a Helen once.
Yeah, Maz, you know this. Jasper, you're not sure. Like, Blackburn, it rings a bell, but... The Blackburn Cattle Company is the largest cattle company in the U.S. at this point. It is entirely self-owned by the patriarch of the family, Hiram Blackburn. He's basically been in the cattle business since before the U.S. was discovered. They've been in cattle for a long time, and they do not have a good reputation. They are often accused of, bullying farmers to get their land, running out smaller ranching companies. And as you were saying, the original people that Carter was feuding with that kind of got him started on this path of banditry was trying to help out some farmers against the Blackburn family. Specifically with a nat 20, stuff that you know, Myra, Helen Blackburn is a bit of a black sheep within the Blackburn family. She's like one of the second or third cousins, but instead of going into the meat industry, she has tried to expand the political aspirations by working with the railroad, specifically the Southern Diamondbacks. The fact that she is here kind of spearheading the force of, trying to make it through the mountain, it's kind of a mixed bag for her, probably. This is definitely kind of a shit detail, but it's also, this is clearly where she's trying to make a name for herself. And has a reputation for being very ambitious.
Myra cocks her head and is like, "Oh, how about that? Your family's in the beef business, but you look like you're doing pretty good here on your own. You're striking out on your own, I see."
Trying to do my best, It's always important to diversify, get your fingers in as many pies as possible.
Yeah, I agree with that. And not having all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Can we stop talking about food? I'm hungry. Pies, eggs.
Well, since you all are doing official railroad business, why don't you make yourselves comfortable? We'll take care of you all for the night. You can relax. It's getting late in the day. You don't want to be in these mountains alone after dark. It can get a little bit spooky, as it will. Avery, I'll be a son of a gun. You're still with these folk?
Avery can't hear none. His gun blowed up in his face, and it was a terrible, terrible misfortune that befell him.
Oh, wow. Well, that is just absolutely lovely. It's, not too bad. He is a dear, close family friend, of course. He's worked with us quite a bit, and it's sad to see him in such a state. Avery, we will take care of you tonight. And Avery just looks at her and says, "I can't understand you, Helen.
We have a notebook.
I'm not getting my book nowhere near that fella no more."
That's okay. And she starts gesticulating wildly in this, borderline offensive pantomime of, "We will take care of you all tonight." And then she turns back to the rest of you and says, "Tell you what, I'll make sure you all are settled in. You can have one of the places over with some of the workers. They have one of the nicer tents. We'll get the family to move out for the night."
No need. We have tents and a wagon and all that, so we're actually pretty good.
I wouldn't dream of making guests set up their own tents. We'll just kick some of the workers out. Graybar, and one of the gnolls steps forward and says, "Why don't you gather up some of the men and we'll take care of the prisoner for the night, make sure he's not going to get nowhere."
If he escapes, it's on you.
Oh, yes, of course.
Gonna shoot a glance over at Carter. What's Carter's expression when she says that?
Give me a sense motive.
Alrighty here, sense motive is hidden right there. Oh yeah, it's a good roll. 10.
Carter has a very stony look on his face, which you know kind of from the japery he's been up to is unusual for him. He looks a bit concerned from your view, Jasper, but that's all you can get with a 10.
Alrighty.
Helen says, you all are welcome to kick back, relax. I'm going to have a bit of a talk with Avery, discuss, some railroad business, and you all don't need to worry about that. Just settle in. You can walk around the camp, see some of the fine work that we're doing. We'll take care of Carter. If there's anything you need, feel free to ask.
Actually, I'd like to purchase some of your wares. Feel a need if you got any leftover bacon, beans, or flour. I need to top off my supplies, and I'm willing to pay for them.
Ah, well, talk to John over there. She points at a large half-orc who's stirring up food in a big pot. He appears to be the camp cook. He'll get you all settled in for any food that you might need, and if you want to purchase anything, you're more than welcome to talk to him about that.
You should probably know that in addition to having his ears blown out, Avery is somewhat addled, perhaps by a magical curse. I wouldn't take many of the things he says very seriously. He really needs so much help that we can't give him. And we were just trying to get him into the right hands, but don't listen to anything he says, really. He's out of his mind.
Oh, don't worry. I know Avery. He's a bit of a loon. Why would we take anything that he says seriously?
Yes, quite right.
Come along, Avery, and she throws an arm over him and says, we're gonna get you all squared away. And he just grumbles, I still can't hear you. Carter has several of these gnolls surrounding him now.
I'm not letting Carter out of my sight.
If you guys want to have a palaver on your own, you can fill me in. I'll stay with our prisoner and keep an eye on him. That work for you?
Take Goiter with you.
I don't think I have met Goiter.
Bonesaw takes him out and holds him out in two hands. Oh, yes, this is Goiter.
Think of him as like a good luck charm.
That thing has a name?
It has feelings too, you inbreed.
Goiter meets Jasper, meets Myra.
This is a bundle of flesh and feathers and tendons in the rough semblance of a bird, you think? It has like fleshy eye spots, and it looks over at Jasper and Myra and goes,
Calm down, we're getting food already.
Sweet.
How big is Goiter? Cat-sized or?
Maybe a little smaller than cat-sized. Like a kitten, like a raven.
I will hold out my hat because I am not gonna touch that bit of autopsy.
I'll plop him inside. Goiter can communicate with me, so if you need anything, just let him know.
Sure thing. Maybe I'll need a new hat.
Goiter kind of flops into the hat and just kind of, like a fluid, fills out the entire space. As you approach Carter, who is starting to get led away by these gnolls, the gnoll that was talking to Helen holds out a hand and growls, You're not needed here. We'll take good care of the prisoner.
I'm sorry, I don't think so. Not unless you're willing to take him all the way to perdition, because we have contracted to keep our eye on him. I'll travel with him. That should be good enough for you fellas. What do you say? Come on, let's go.
Make a diplomacy check for me.
Okay. Have you met Goiter? 17! That's at a
17.
-1.
Wow.
I'm going to attribute it all to the good personality on Goiter.
Yeah, Goiter's just kind of like blobs his head out, and it definitely looks like it's unnerved this gnoll a little bit. And he looks over at Helen. Helen is preoccupied with Avery at the moment, kind of leading him away, and says, all right, fine, whatever. And you're able to go with him.
Testing. Bonesaw, can you hear me? Goiter, wink your eye if Bonesaw replies. Where the hell are your eyes?
A single eyeball, like, blops up out of the flesh. Just the eyeball. There's no, like, eyelid or anything.
Well, tarnation and damn, I was hoping I'd be able to sleep tonight. But...
Take that means he can see you.
I'll take that as a yes.
Myra, Moz, and Bonesaw are going to go off, kind of get settled in for the night. It's approaching evening. It was a full day of travel.
Listen, there's no way in hell I'm kicking some family out of their place for a night to stay in it.
I agree. We'll just say we found a warm spot and just said we like that spot better.
I say we grab our food and we hightail it out of here. I do not trust that woman as far as I can throw her.
Well, I think it is good if we try to talk to her at least, because with Avery and him being all crazy and everything, we still at least have to maybe ask her if she could protect us a little bit from the Pinkertons, you know, us trying to do our jobs and everything.
I think by this is through, we're gonna need protection from them. I do not like this situation one bit. I say we leave Avery here and get out.
I do like that idea. What are the chances we could convince her that he's completely adult, just over the edge, and needs to stay here for his own protection? Then we could leave Avery behind and not have to deal with him at all on the other end. He would probably come after us eventually, but we could get away.
I do have one or two spells up my sleeve that could induce mild paranoia or insanity.
I was just about to ask Bonesaw if he had a little potion or something, but you just answered my question.
I believe some of you might have already had a bit of taste of that.
I am a healer, man.
I'm sure I can think of something.
Is anyone listening to us right now? Myra's going to look around and make sure no one's paying attention to our conversation.
You do have a couple of gnolls who are following you, you guess as your escort. They do not appear to be paying that close of attention to you all.
All right, I like this plan. Moz can use a little mind magic, and push Avery over the edge, then we can leave him behind.
One slight issue. It's gonna make everybody a little bit crazy.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe we could just argue that the insanity's a bit contagious, yeah?
Okay. By the way, is it permanent or temporary?
Oh, it should wipe out by sunrise at the latest for sure.
Okay, so it'll all be...
Don't worry about it. I'm sure Bonesaw's got a thing or two in that wagon that'll help out.
Well, contagious gives me a thought. Even if it wasn't a mind thing, if he were patient zero for something, they'd need to quarantine him, yes?
That's true.
That would be very logical, Bones, and I do not quite appreciate what you're insinuating.
I don't necessarily know if I... Well, can I check on the bowl of soup that's been sitting in my cupboard?
That thing is still
that
hanging
would
around.
make someone really sick.
Might be a primary ingredient.
Roll a d20, and 15 or higher, there is still soup left.
Oh, 14. Did it all slop out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn.
You were going up roads. The cart caught on fire a little bit earlier. It's all slopped out. You see the meat that you got is just sitting there at the bottom of it, but...
Well, to be honest, I don't actually think I could make anyone sick with anything that I have.
Why don't we give Myra a shot at that?
Do I have anything to help with that? I just kind of shoot things.
Well, you can certainly make someone sick out of just a few grains and bugs, so...
Are you implying I don't like what you're implying about my cooking, by the way. My cooking is fine. It's fine enough for me. You know what?
Myra's cooking is perfectly palatable. Just as he's wiping up the soup.
Yeah, just...
Would making him have really bad diarrhea, would that make him unfit for travel? Like, if we just, like, if Myra's cooking is actually, like, bad.
Oh, God.
Like, as opposed to using, like, complicated spells, or
Weaponized
what if
cookery.
she just made her normal cooking, threw a booger in there or something, and...
I mean, isn't dysentery a very common cause of death at these times?
Very
yeah.
much so.
Yep.
We need to get dysentery. We could use the workers have all sorts of health problems, and I'm sorry, this is getting dark, but no, it's like
Make a gnoll soup.
if someone has a cold, we could, like, I don't know, maybe, like, I don't know, get a tissue from them.
Perhaps I can backtrack us a bit. Moz, you can do illusion magic, yes?
A bit.
Is it very specific to, like, hellscapes and things, or could you make someone look like they were very sick? Because even if a lot of people looked like they were very sick, I mean, that would still add credence to the idea that there might be, like, a plague spreading, and we need to hightail it out of here and leave Avery behind.
About that, he might be looking mighty sick after he sees a lot of hell. So,
Okay.
Is hell the only illusion you can do?
to me, it's not an illusion there, Bones.
Jasper, are you on Smokey or are you walking?
No, Smokey is put away until we can get to a place where that gun can be safely disposed.
Okay, perfect. Carter is being led by these 4 gnolls, and they take you some distance down the track and make their way into an old barn. They open the door and turn back towards you, Jasper, and says, "All right, you've seen his accommodations. You happy with that?"
No, sir, I think what we have here is what is called a chain of control, or chain of evidence, which means that one of us has to be with the prisoner at all times to make sure he is not compromised. He could be replaced with a doppelganger, or he could be ensorcelled in some way that we do not know about. We have been contracted by your employers to deliver him safe and sound to perdition, where he may be tried and hung by the neck until he is dead, dead, dead.
It's okay, we'll take care of him. We're very good at our job. We're very good at taking care of our guests.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to be spending the evening together then. You guys know any trail songs? Work songs, maybe? How about Boil That Cabbage Down? You know Boil That Cabbage Down? It's a real simple tune.
The 4 gnolls look between each other, and they start talking in that same laughing voice that they speak in.
I'm not letting on that I'm absolutely terrified.
Give me a perception check, Jasper.
Alrighty. Bam! 26!
You are able to tell that this barn, it's not used normally for horses or cattle or that sort of thing. As you look around, you see a lot of meat hooks, a fire burning in one corner, some hot branding irons stuck in it, blood spattered across the floor in a couple of places. You get the sense that this is the place where people who get on the wrong side of the Blackburns, this is where they go for a bit of re-education, as it were.
Yep. That's exactly what I was afeared of. I will look down into my hat and say, Bonesaw, I could really use some assistance right now. Things are not looking sunny, that's for sure. I say, fellas, this does not look like a proper place for carrying or holding a prisoner. Looks like there are all kinds of places where somebody can escape. I think that I'll be taking custody of him now.
Bonesaw, what can you hear through Goiter?
General impressions, emotions.
At the level that we are at... Oh, shit. Wait. Okay.
Nothing at all.
Sorry.
The goggles, they do nothing.
It's placebo.
The master has an empathic link with his familiar to a 1 mile distance. The master can communicate empathically with the familiar, but cannot see through its eyes. Because of the link's limited nature, only general emotions can be shared. The master has the same connection to an item or place that his familiar does.
In that case, Bonesaw, you start to get very scared feeling coming from Goiter.
You know, I'm really curious about that hell thing you just said, but Jasper is feeling really scared right now, and so is Goiter. I think we should go check on them.
Let's go take a peek.
Jasper, you are surrounded by these 4 gnolls. And they're starting this laughter up, and you actually hear one click their shotgun closed, and they're loaded. Carter is standing there looking between and says, "Now, Jasper, I know we've had our differences of opinion. I don't think that this is gonna end well for either one of us."
I can't say that it looks, tell you what, though. We should sing ourselves a nice, loud song. Come on, sing with me. Boil that cabbage down, boys. Turn that whole cake round. Only song I ever did sing was boil that cabbage down.
Do we hear that?
I'm making a lot of noise.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're making enough noise that actually some of the workers begin to look over at you, Jasper. The gnolls begin to look a little uncomfortable at how much noise you're making. 2 of them are trying to push Carter back into the barn, and it's not going well.
Come on, Carter, sing along with me.
Carter starts singing, "Boil that cabbage down, we're gonna get out of here. It's been a long time since I've heard this song. I don't want to get my shoes pulled off by the nails here. This would be very bad and painful, make running away very hard. Might need to break these shackles now."
Maz, having heard the quite terrified cries of his companion Jasper and his not-so-companion Carter, is going to kick up a little bardic performance and is going to push them along their thing. And he is also going to start preparing some fireballs. Because I think it's about to get ugly.
Excellent. Jasper, as you are singing here with Carter, the gnolls are no longer standing around, shall we say. One of them puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "It's about time for you to leave, sir. Unless you want to end up like your friend Carter."
Think you better get your hand off me, friend. We're gonna have a disagreement.
Bonesaw, Myra, and Maz, you're about 10 feet away. Are you bringing all of your stuff with you? The cart?
Damn it. No, probably not. I think we parked it and we're like
Probably
coming
leave
over.
the horses with
Okay.
him as well.
But as we're coming over, if Bonesaw feels like real terror from Goiter, he's gonna be ready for a fight. I'm gonna zombie rage and drink my rage mutagen. Bonesaw grows to his giant muscly form again as he downs his mutagen.
Myra's gonna load ugly.
Excellent. I'm gonna need everybody to roll me some initiative.
Yeah.
Boom.
You got snow all around. You do see the little fire. The barn building is right there behind y'all. The group is about 60 feet away when the first gnoll decides to take action. He is going to reach up and clock you against the back of your head.
He's gonna try.
He's going to lean down and take a bite of you. Oh shit. And that's a crit on my first attack.
Oh, it was nice knowing you, Jasper.
It sinks into you pretty bad, Jasper. You're going to take 14 points of damage.
Okay.
And then, because that was his natural attack, he has his shotgun drawn. He's going to take a shot at you. 8 more damage.
Ouch.
And then he's going to 5-foot step away.
Can't say I think much of your hospitality. Ugh.
Myra, you're up.
Myra is gonna move there. She's gonna do a deed. She's going to do targeting. So that one. Does he have a pistol or does he have a shotgun?
He's holding one shotgun currently. He has a second shotgun holstered, a dagger next to him, a whip, and a stick of dynamite.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the repeating rifle, the long range.
Okay, excellent.
On a hit, the target takes no damage. From the hip, it drops one carried item of the gunslinger's choice.
That definitely hits. You line up the shot, look through the scope. You see he's leveling the gun for another shot at Jasper, and you just ping, ping, and you see the gun just goes scattering away. He is now disarmed of one of his guns. Something secret that's happened, and Bonesaw, you're up.
Bonesaw, as we're running over, is so worried for Goiter because he can feel the terror through this connection, and as he begins to do his zombie rage and knocks back his mutagen, he starts to grow and swell again, and this time the veins that are on the side of his neck, the little patch of skin that can be seen out of all of his clothes, start to bulge and they look black, and his eyes, rather than their typical glowing green when he's doing magic, turn red. And he pulls out his hog splitter and starts to charge toward the gnolls as much as he can, bearing down with glowing red eyes.
Did your token change color?
Maybe.
Oh, shit.
29.
This gnoll that just got its gunshot out of its hand and looks over to see this fucking massive zombie charging at him, and he gives a as you slash into him for 18 points of damage.
Nice.
Fantastic. Jasper, it is your turn.
Alrighty.
Because of your particular knowledge about survival skills, I will say you know that the best way to get to perdition from where y'all are at right now, you basically have to go back through the camp and hang a left to go north.
Alrighty. Jasper is going to, since he has no enemies in contact with him, that's my move. I'm going to cast a spell, but given the nature of the spell, I have to cast it off the map to the left so that the edge of the spell will hit these two fellas, but not hit the others or Carter. I'm going to cast Entangle.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm going to yell out, Moz, these fellas carry a whole bunch of dynamite on their hips, and a fireball would really ruin their days.
Like where your head's at, Jasper.
Ooh. It is massive. These tangles of vines and choking mesquite that is still growing at these higher altitudes begin to grab up and grasp at the gnolls that are trapped by it now.
All right, well, there's a DC 14 reflex partial, whatever that means.
14, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Natural 20s, both of them.
Both of them rolled fucking nat 20.
I think your dice are
Oh my god. Oh, this spell is going 10 for 10. Checking the timestamp on those. Holy crow.
It's not wasted, though, for sure. Moz, you're up.
As you guys watch Moz run closer with a very quick, upbeat tune, you can see the campfire kind of starts to pull away from Moz as he gets closer.
Interesting.
This one that's standing right next to him pulls out his stick of dynamite that he has, considers, puts it back, draws out his second shotgun. The first shot he's going to take at Bonesaw, who just ran up. That is a 34 to hit, so 8 damage.
I'm coming for you next.
I doubt it.
Oh, sorry, I need to roll a will save.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and roll a will save.
Not 20!
This guy's gonna run up. Carter is going to attempt to attack, even though he is fettered.
He could try kicking the fella deeper into the entangle.
That's what he's gonna try and do.
Ah, yeah.
Ooh, 22 definitely hits. I'm gonna say that makes the guy have to make another reflex save. And that would be a 13.
Yay!
He's running past, and he suddenly gets stuck as Carter just reaches out and boom, knocks the wind out of him. And now it is Carter's turn. Carter is going to spend his full turn to move his maximum distance of 30 feet.
Where's Goiter?
Presumably still on Jasper.
He's free to leave at any time. I'm not constraining his mobility in any way, shape, or form. You can keep the hat.
You see 3 of the hyenas take bites at Carter as he runs away. Oof. Only one of them makes contact, though. So nice. Then something secret happens, and that's the last of the gnolls. Also going to draw a gun, is going to move right up next to his fellas.
They're grouped so nicely.
I know.
And he's going to take a shot at Jasper. 13 points of damage as this shotgun rips into you.
Ow!
This guy who you attacked, Bonesaw, he's going to step away.
Oh, scared, are you?
Yes. And draw out his shotgun. That's all he can do because he moved away. Next up is Myra.
Myra's gonna go here. Are the horses in my way to shoot this guy, or is he just off enough?
You'll be able to avoid the horses. There are 4 horses that are tied up. They are definitely a bit wild right now.
Okay, she's gonna do another targeted shot, and I'm just burning through my grip points here. This time at this gnoll's head. On a hit, the target is damaged normally and is also confused for 1 round. This is a mind-affecting effect.
Oh, shit. 18. You take your shot, and it wings at this gnoll, and just boom! It hits a lantern that was right above this
shit.
guy.
You got lucky, punk.
And as it's hanging there, tee, boom! Smacks this guy right
Oh,
on the
sweet. Cool.
head and knocks him loopy.
Sweet.
That's a condition.
He is now confused. How long does that confusion last?
1 round.
Excellent. Secret happening in the background.
What's going on?
Jasper and Moz, give me a perception check.
Coming up.
All right then. 26.
12.
This thing does not have great stealth. In fact, it nat 1 did stealth. So I'm going to say, even Myra, you hear this. You hear something very large starting to shuffle around inside this barn. It's big, whatever it is. There's some sort of shifting, a crunch of a table getting smashed. And Jasper, you in particular, at the angle you're at, catch a glimpse of green skin.
Green skin, does that mean anything to me? Other than the old saying, green skin makes good kin.
It looked like it was on a wing.
Oh my. Oh crap. Something green with wings in there.
Bonesaw, you're up.
Bonesaw is somewhat distracted by the rage that he's in. Black magic ripples over his skin as he spontaneously heals a swift action for 5 points. And he looks at the guy who took a step away from him, scared, and says, "Well, you didn't run very far, did you? I'm going to shatter you like glass." And he steps up and takes another swing with Crux for 30 to hit for 16 slashing.
Oh my.
Damn. Yeah, the one that's right in front of you, that definitely hits, and that definitely slashes into him. He does not look like he's doing too hot. Jasper, you're up.
All right. I got 1 flare shot with my left hand and 1 revolver shot with my regular bullet with my right. So here comes the flare. 17 to hit. 1 point of bludgeoning and piercing damage.
Oh,
Might be all it takes. I don't know.
you fire this shot, and it slams into him. Honestly, it hits him right in the beans. Like, it is a perfect nut shot. Just like, boom, boom. Literal pants on fire here. And he is entangled, too. So this is actually... Oh boy, this is going to end badly for him. He's going to be dazed from getting hit if he fails that. Entangled, let's have him do that reflex save. Oh no.
Oh no.
He gets hit by this flare. He wipes his eyes and he doesn't seem like he's dazed, but you all hear a tss. He looks down at his hip.
Fire up the hole!
Boom.
I can't believe you said that.
And it detonates.
What's the range on that detonation there?
10 feet.
Damn.
He is just barely out of range of his compatriots. That is 4d6. So it only does 10 points of damage to him. But I'm going to have him make a fortitude save and another reflex save.
It is attached to his hip.
It is attached to his hip.
That would be a pretty impressive reflex to get away.
Yeah, that's not what he's getting away from.
Oh.
You hear 3 more hisses.
Oh no. Oh no.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
As in his pack that he's carrying, 3 more sticks of dynamite detonate. This poor Gnoll, who was just standing there, all of a sudden is saddled with, what is that, 10 plus 22 plus 14 plus 19 points of damage. There are chunks of Gnoll raining down.
Oh.
As this guy is completely and utterly killed.
Yeah.
Damn.
I still got one more shot left, too.
Nicely done, Jasper.
With my other gun, I'm going to shoot at this fella here, and as I do, I'm going to say, that was a warning shot. Unless you boys gonna want to have a real bad day, I suggest you drop trow and run. 29 to hit. Oh man, I am doing really poor on damage. For 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
That definitely hits. It doesn't do much. It's a good warning shot. It clips off piercing that this Gnoll has in his ear. That's the end of Jasper's turn, where he just killed somebody.
I was gonna say, play of the day.
Let this be a lesson to everyone to wrap up your dynamites.
I'll go ahead and take a 5-foot step.
Goiter's going with you.
He's like clinging to your shirt.
He's got my hat on at a jaunty angle. And he has to hold it up with both hands so he can see. I know, it's terribly cute.
Maz, you're up.
So, I really wanted to throw a fireball in there and just kill everyone. But seeing has just a little bit, like 1 point of fire damage essentially made that entire person get turned into a lot of very smaller bits of themselves. I am going to, out of a kindness for Bonesaw,
Appreciate you.
hold my turn. I'm going to prepare an action so that when Bonesaw is clear to throw a fireball, then at everyone else. And seeing as how there's sort of this fire protection around everyone, I'm not too worried about clipping someone with the fireball.
Gotcha.
Bones, run!
Moz, Jasper got to turn one into paste. I want to do that too.
You're gonna be paste if you don't get out of there!
The Gnoll that got conked on the head just says, babbles incoherently for their turn. Carter's going to move 15 and then another 30 feet. He's going to look around and say, tell you what, some of you remove these shackles from me, I'll give you a free ride out of here.
Nah. How about you help us out first?
With what? He points at his shackled hands, his fettered legs, his no guns.
I don't know. Actually, check out those boxes and see if there's dynamite in there.
Ooh.
He nods, and he's going to do that on his next turn. Another secret thing happening in the background. It is this Gnoll's turn. He looks at his fellows. He has both his shotguns out. He is going to look at you, Bonesaw, laugh, and say, do you think you can catch this? Levels both shotguns right at you. Oh
geez.
no!
Did he misfire?
He misfires using a sawed-off shotgun.
Oh no, buddy.
Ooh, he's going to have Avery syndrome.
It's worse with these shotguns because they actually launch out fire when they fail.
Oh shit.
Bonesaw, get out of there.
1d8 around, starting with the guy above him. If it's a 1, he's going to hit his friend next to him with fire damage. That's a 5. The fire launches off into a corner. He does his own damage back to himself as he yelps as one of his guns misfires, and he is going to 5-foot step away from you, Bonesaw.
Just try it! I'm a god!
This guy who has been beaten and attacked a couple of times, he's gonna fucking book it. He is flat out running.
Coward.
Ooh, do I get an attack of opportunity?
Oh, what a bad place to run.
You do get an attack of opportunity as he runs away.
18 to hit, 17 slashing damage.
You slash him across the back as he runs away, further giving him reason to get the hell out of Dodge.
Catch this!
He lands in the entanglement, and he keeps running for a distance. He is full on fleet.
Damn, they have a lot of health.
Myra, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna move 20 feet and just to be a little closer. She's gonna settle up to Maz and be like, "Oh no, you don't, fucker." And she's going to do a good old shoot.
At the one that's fleeing?
Yeah. Sorry, Bonesaw.
You hit him.
I do?
You definitely hit him. Nice. He takes 12 points of damage again.
He's still alive?
He is still alive. What? He is limping now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
He is looking like he is on his last legs, though. He is not looking good. You begin to hear a thumping coming from inside.
I'm worried about this.
And as you do, you suddenly see a hole appear in the wall as a massive green dragon comes bursting through the wall.
My green dragon reinforcement has come.
Myra, you understand as this dragon comes out, it says, "Is it time for Drokaska to feed?"
Oh shit. Myra says it's hungry and it has a name.
Hope it likes fireball.
That is Bonesaw's turn.
Okay.
Run?
Bonesaw is just breathing heavily, panting under the effects of this rage, and he's watching the one get away, but hearing Maz's warning and knowing what Maz can do, he is going to walk backwards, sort of slowly, until he's about here.
That triggers Maz's prepared action.
Yes. Seeing as none of my friends are within range, I'm going to just throw my hardest hitting fireball currently. 25 fire damage.
Dun, dun, dun.
Damn.
So that's 25 fire damage to all the enemies remaining.
You see the one who is fleeing just just goes up in smoke as he is killed.
Hey, we got him.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
The other two, what's the reflex save on the fireball?
17.
In that case, they both succeed on their reflex saves. They will take half, but because that was just up for the fireball, now I have to roll for their dynamite.
The gift that keeps on giving.
That dragon is in 2 splash zones, too.
They both managed to succeed on their reflex saves for that.
Damn.
The dragon looks at you and roars. Bonesaw, you're up.
Okay, Bonesaw already moved, but he is going to pull out one of his bombs. Rather than throwing it, though, he's gonna shake it up, pop the cork, and down it, pulling his mask back just a bit. Then he's gonna lean forward and breathe out acid smoke for a 15-foot cone.
Oh boy. Okay, that's gonna hit all of them. What's the reflex save on your acid? 10 plus 7 plus your intelligence modifier.
4.
So 21. Okay.
Right now it's 3, though. Sorry, 20.
That doesn't matter. One of them definitely takes the full damage. The other one takes half damage. However, you look as this acid splashes on the green dragon, and it says, once again in Draconic, so only Myra can understand it. Tasty. Drokaska loves seasoned food.
Delightful. Bonesaw coughs and says, "Got a little something stuck in my throat."
Jasper, you're up.
Jasper, knowing what is likely to come in future turns here, is going to move to behind this rise, hoping that these crates are not full of dynamite, and is going to switch out from his pistols to his rifle.
Okay, awesome. This gnoll is going to move right over here, and he's going to throw a lit stick of dynamite that he lights in the fire right in the middle of all of you.
Don't like that.
What type of damage does the dynamite do?
Half fire, half bludgeoning.
Anything that is beneath 20 fire damage is negated within my bardic inspiration.
Wow.
Anything less than 20, you said?
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Everyone has 20 fire resistance.
So it'll only do 2d6 points of damage, bludgeoning, if it goes off. It has a long string attached to it.
Oh my God.
The dynamite hasn't exploded yet. It is hissing down. The gnoll, you hear, gives a loud screeching laugh that seems to echo throughout the canyon.
Shit.
It's okay. I think we have been jigged up already.
That's a good point.
It is Carter's turn. He is going to start rifling through the boxes, tearing them open. I'm going to roll a pure luck check for him. He opens a box, tosses it aside, opens a box, tosses it aside, and he said, "It's all pickles!"
Damn it.
And he dumps
you.
out a box, and it's just an entire thing of pickles.
What the fuck you need so many pickles for?
Wait, sweet or dill?
He bites it. Dill. I can work with this.
Store it! We need rations!
And then he's going to make another 15-foot runaway. Something secret happens in the background.
More secret beyond the dragon?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Oh shit. Oh
no.
shit. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Oh no. It took too long.
It's a pickle golem.
Look who joined the turn order. Helen
Yeah.
Blackburn. Detective Avery Hodges.
Yep.
Oh god, we're so screwed.
Okay, then it is the last of the Blackburn gnolls' turn. He's still in okay shape. He's going to rush over just south of you, Carter, and then he's going to take his way, get up right up on Maz, and he pulls out his shotgun. You see as he's running, he's flicking it open and reloading. And as he approaches, he pulls the trigger and belches out a massive line of fire. I need Myra and Maz to make a reflex save.
Oy.
Okay. I rolled a 1 with that damage die. As this fire is erupting, instead of doing fucking damage, it explodes again in his hand.
Jesus. And he has dynamite on him?
Yes.
It's okay, we're in... I got my little tune playing. As long as the tune is playing, we're safe.
Get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof.
3. Okay, the fire just erupts to the side. He manages to survive, and you don't take any damage from that. Myra, you're up.
Does anyone speak giant ass lizard?
Myra is like, I understand what it's saying. I really don't think we can reason with this, but maybe... Myra looks at the horses.
Might be time to hightail it.
Quick question, can Myra actually ride these horses because she needs an exotic saddle?
She can. It would not be pretty, and she would have to make a ride check if she tried to do any sort of attacks at a -3 penalty.
Okay.
To be completely frank, it will spook the horse because the only way she's going to be able to do it is like to coil around it.
Yeah, that's not gonna be kosher. Okay.
Carter said he'd give someone a ride if they got him out of his fetters.
Oh, that's a good point. I think the very first thing she's gonna do is she's gonna move over here. And actually, if Carter is within her range, she's gonna use her gun to blast off his locks.
Excellent.
Oh, fuck.
You're gonna
Which is-
use the blast lock grit?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gunslingers are so hecking cool.
I know, we got some cool stuff.
You lower your gun at the fetters and just blast it, and it just immediately shatters.
Okay. Are his hands free?
His hands are not free, but he doesn't really need them for anything if you're just running.
Yeah.
He grins as he kind of shakes out his legs, stomps a hoof, and says, "Now that's a friend that I like, somebody who can shoot a lock off the feet. Hop on."
If we're going to run, we have to get to the cart.
Right behind you.
Yeah, are you going to spend the rest of your movement to get up on Carter?
Yeah.
Okay, you are now riding Carter Sutton.
This feels
He
weird.
gave permission. It's okay.
This is weird.
Carter looks like he's biting back several things as you're, like, holding on, but he does not say anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, keep your tongue.
Of course, wouldn't say anything with a lady on my back.
Around your back.
That is Myra's turn. Hodges is doing something. It is the green dragon's turn.
Oh no.
It gives this dragon-esque smile as it moves right next to our little Bonesaw and sprays this giant cone of acid. I'm gonna need a reflex save from Moz and Bonesaw, please. DC 17.
I went ahead and threw my will save in there. It's a DC 15, so I'm good for now.
Okay. Reflex of 13 fails. Reflex of 20 succeeds. I need to roll a reflex for this poor Gnoll who was in the way of that attack.
Oh, that's some stanky breath.
Oh no, he nat one. Oh no.
Again?
Yeah.
So many nat ones.
That is a total of 27 damage if you failed, half that if you succeed. Moz.
Yeah, the consensus is that we're running, right?
Yeah.
If I go on a horse, is that like a standard action or is that just like a check to hop on?
To get it untied and in a rideable state, that would be a standard action, because it's currently tied up.
I am then going to do a 5-foot step here, and targeting the campfire that's still burning, I am going to do pyrotechnics again.
Oh shit.
And create a smoke screen so that that will extinguish the fire.
Bonesaw, you are ensconced in this smoke cloud.
Ah. Very nice, Mozzie. Turn out the lights.
I'm pretty sure we have to do some type of saving throw as well.
Fortitude save.
Okay, so that's everyone within the smoke.
Yeah.
So it would be a -4 to strength and dexterity on a failed save, I think. 13.
19.
17.
Okay. The dragon looks hale and hearty as ever. One of the gnolls is coughing up a lung. The other gnoll seems to be okay. Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is going to 5-foot step back into the smoke. This gnoll wouldn't be able to see me, right? Because the smoke is concealing me?
Correct.
Okay. And he is going to pull out another extract bottle and down it. And as he does, he starts to lift up off the ground because I am casting Fly.
Oh, jeez.
I suppose it's time to get out of Dodge, yes? I can fly at 60 feet.
Ah.
That's also a scary image because Bonesaw is like roided up and he's got big red glowing eyes and he's just in the air.
Surrounded by smoke.
He's surrounded by smoke.
Jasper, you're up.
Alrighty, Jasper is going to throw a little statue on the ground. Come on, Smokey, we're getting out of here. Now, the spell does not say what the action economy is for turning it back, but I'm hoping that I can throw it on the ground, he becomes a horse I can mount, and he can use his movement to run us away.
I'm going to say it's a move action to transform him back. You'll be able to spend half of your movement to climb up on him, and then you can use the rest to flee.
Alrighty, hopefully I've done this correctly.
Nope, she's carrying Goiter. Away she goes with Goiter.
It's the important one, right?
Smokey, come back! Bad horse! Let's see here.
Goiter's best day ever.
He has a speed of 50 times 4.
Has the dynamite gone off yet?
No, it has not yet. It's still down. It is the Blackburn Gnoll's turn. This is the one that is suffering penalty. He's going to fire randomly into the area with his scattershot gun. Can I get Moz and Bonesaw to please roll concealment at 50%?
Is that a 1d100?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Okay, I'm gonna roll my will save. Ooh, nat 20!
Nice.
Look at
Okay.
that.
All three of you get hit as this gun fires in scattershot. All of you take 10 points of damage. You hear a yelp from the gnoll who's in there with you. It is Carter's turn, and he says, "You might want to hold on, little lady. This is going to be a bit of a fun ride for us."
Oh boy, she hangs on.
Myra, you feel as he fucking bolts, and he is going fast.
Oh my god.
Faster than you probably expected him to go.
Magic horseshoe.
As he runs, he blows past Jasper and Smokey a full 140 feet as he runs through the tunnel. You hear the sounds of commotion coming from the camp. You can't make out what's going on, but something is happening.
Okay.
Mess with my god, I'm going to rip this camp apart piece by piece.
That is something that's happening in the background. Myra, actually, you're close enough. You hear a gunshot go off.
Ah, shit.
You know what? This Gnoll has not been having a great time, and he's been attacked by his friend. Bonesaw, you see him rush past you. He's not even fucking paying attention to you now. He lunges at his friend and starts biting at him.
What's me?
And completely fucking misses. You can take an attack of opportunity on him if you'd like as he runs past.
Yeah. He's all raged up. Normally I don't get between friends, but this is just too convenient. 27 to hit, 17 slashing.
How do you want to kill this guy?
Yay!
Suddenly, just from behind, he doesn't even see Bonesaw through the smoke hovering with this concealment, and just all he hears is the shing of this massive hog splitter cutting through the smoke, and then his skull.
Yeah, he flattens to the ground, just dead. Myra, you're up. You're moving at the same time as Carter.
Okay, so she hears a commotion and she hears a shot. So she's gonna take out the fireball that Maz gave her, and she's gonna ready an action for when she sees. Could I be vague and be like any hostile individual that may be coming up on them?
I'll allow it.
Okay. She doesn't know if Helen's coming down, if Hodges is coming down, or if a mob of people are coming down. So she's going to have that out and ready while she's on the back of Carter.
Sounds good. You don't hear anything except scuffling at the moment. Then it is Drokaska's turn. Oh no, Bonesaw. Bonesaw, my dude. You didn't move.
I moved a little bit.
Roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total concealments for me.
What?
Holy shit.
6.
Hit. Miss.
Get out of there.
Oh my god.
Hit.
Oh my god.
Hit. Miss.
Miss.
Okay.
Okay. 3 hits, 3 misses.
Going down.
Oh my god.
Take
oh my god, oh my god.
12 points of damage. Take 9 points of damage. And that one would have hit, but it missed on the concealment. As all of a sudden, it snaps at you with its jaw, it swings at you with its claws, it beats at you with its 2 wings,
Jesus.
and slaps at you with its
Fucking
Yikes!
I hate dragons!
Yikes!
Don't fuck with dragons, y'all!
As he takes these hits, the rage in him swells. I rolled 3 will saves and I failed 2 of them.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take those penalties.
What are you sitting at health-wise?
5 hit points.
So the smoke saved you for one more turn.
I would tell you, fucking get the hell
I
out.
was gonna say go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Maz, it's your turn.
Okay, so I just saw the absolute beating Bonesaw got. Well, I didn't see it, but I could hear it through the smoke, and I could smell the absolute ass whooping that got handed out.
Yeah.
So I am going to
Smell the
go
ass
to these horses and try and saddle up. What do I gotta do for that?
Make a ride check.
Okay. Ooh, it's just a +1. 17. That's decent.
Yeah, you're able to
Okay.
get up on the horse, get it undone, and you're going to be able to run. You can use half of the horse's move speed, which is 50 feet, so you can move 25 feet this turn.
Okay.
That is Maz's turn. Bonesaw, it's your turn.
Bonesaw is withdrawing. He's floating in the smoke. After the series of pulpy smacking sounds that Maz hears, he just hears a whoosh. This is Bonesaw. No, this is a fight for another day. Well, come back later. Yes.
Jasper, I assume you're Bolton?
Yeah, I'm just going to be moving. I'm going to be trying to trail Carter as best I can. That's Goiter on his back there.
I'm going to move you 80 feet.
All right, I can see him clearly.
Bonesaw, you're actually the first one who is close enough to see all of your horses are kind of freaking out. It appears that there's a bit of a riot going on.
Ooh, nice.
And specifically, you see Helen Blackburn and Avery Hodges fucking duking it out.
Ooh, we're taking Hodges with
You
us.
see Avery
Yeah.
is
That
just
much.
punching Helen. She's trying to shoot him with the gun, but he is just, like, laying into her. And you hear him shout, "You don't steal my bounty!" Jasper, you moved 80 feet. If you want to move further, you can.
Yeah, I'll move further. We're all getting out of here. Bonesaw's way in the lead, so sure. I'm making my way towards the
Okay,
cart.
perfect. This Gnoll is not quite sure where Moz is. He's going to go to where he last saw Moz. He's going to take a shot in the dark. And he misses completely because he's not aiming anywhere near you, Moz. Carter says, "Hold on, little lady." And he's going to continue running.
Need to get to the cart.
Sure, we could just keep going. Don't need to take any of these folks with us.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're going off on your own, then I'm gonna stop here. They need me.
He gives a bit of a huff and stops. You see, he looks like he pulled out a nail from one of the boxes and he's fiddling, trying to unlock his shackles.
Okay, but he's stopped by the cart.
He is stopped by the cart, yes.
Okay.
You all are close enough that you hear Helen yell out, "Sorry, darling, it's just business. You know how it is. Think if we... Ah, shit. Never count on these gnolls to do anything right. I have to do it all myself." And she takes a shot at... You know what? She's gonna shoot at Carter, because she can. She holds out her gun, puts her hand to the side of it, and draws her hand back, and it gets coated with this electric purple energy. And as she fires the gun, the bullet is traced with this lightning through the air. Ooh, that definitely hits. It strikes Carter in the chest, and he gives a pained...
Shit.
Myra, you're up.
Okay. Carter gets hit with this electric stuff. I'm assuming he's bleeding.
I mean, yeah, he just got shot, so he's bleeding, but it's not like a bad wound.
Okay. She's gonna go, shit, plug your ears. And she's going to dead shot Helen.
Ooh.
I'm also gonna try to hit her in the head so that she's gonna be confused for a round. And this is my very last script point.
Awesome. Oh, once again, she is in fisticuffs with Hodges, and she actually sees the bullet incoming as you fire, and she puts up what appears to be this arcane shield. But your bullet just rips right through it, and it strikes her in the forehead, and just boom! And she looks dazed.
It's a thick skull.
I'm going to ask a question, since we're pretty much near the end of this combat. You are going to be able to take the horses and get on the horses and get away from all this. The question is, are you taking Hodges with you?
I say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Bonesaw's not opposed. And if he sees the others trying to bring him along, he'll help, because we're kind of all in this together.
Okay.
But goddamn.
And I think any debt or agreement owed to Carter is just, that's paid. I am not going to try and spring him from jail later on. I stayed with him when he was going to be tortured by gnolls.
And Hodges does hate Carter, and that's admirable, so...
When Myra shoots her shot at Helen, can Avery see this and look, and Myra, waves him, get your ass out of here, let's go.
Yeah, he looks over, he sees you, let's get the hell out of here. He hops on his horse, and Moz is a little bit behind all of you, but he is going to be able to make up. The dragon appears to be more interested in the live, wriggling gnoll that it is within range of.
Am I going through a tunnel right now?
Yes, you're going through a tunnel.
Okay, can I cast Soundburst and try and collapse the tunnel behind me?
Absolutely.
We're gonna go ahead and close off the dragon.
Because of the amplification in this tunnel, it shakes the walls and collapses. It's not a big collapse. It's definitely something that they would be able to clear pretty quickly, but it is enough that the dragon will be trapped. You all hear this rock fall.
Mozzie does it again!
You see this dust cloud come out, and then out of this dust cloud, Moz on a much oversized horse just comes charging out. You all whip the horses and start charging away, leaving nothing for Helen to ride as she recovers from her dazed state. As you turn the corner, you see an entire mass of gnolls charging behind you. But they're on feet. You guys are on your horses.
She treats you terribly. She's the jerk.
Damn it, we never got lunch!
We save any of those pickles?
Yeah, I was about to say, if we can grab some kind of food on the way out.
Well, we have extra horses.
Oh.
You continue riding forward as the sun sets. The sounds of a clash and a riot as the railroad workers turn against the various gnolls who have abandoned their posts and are paying attention now, getting a little bit of revenge as you continue to ride north into the night. We close as, in the distance, you all see the lights of a town. You are nearly at your goal, perdition.
Oh my god. Holy.
As you approach, in the darkness, you see 3 figures riding their horses towards you.
Dust and Blood is a Rolling Path production featuring Corinne Hill as Myra Sting, Blake Alfson as our GM, Zach Parker as Maz Copernicus Pryor, Keith Curtis as Jasper Graves, and myself, Gail Parker as Bonesaw. Our theme song is Dust and Blood by Arne Parrott, and other music throughout this recording is provided by Kevin Macleod, Tabletop Audio, Dark Fantasy Studios, and the Desperados 3 original game soundtrack by Filippo Beck Peccoz. Transcripts, detailed sound credits, and more can be found on our website at dustandbloodpod.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Dust and Blood Pod, or support us through our Patreon at Dust and Blood, where you can join our community Discord and get perks like our behind-the-scenes discussion show, The Roundup. Thank you so much to everyone supporting us on Patreon, people like Lego Queen BB, Seru, Sleeve McDykel, and 50 Sloths of Grey. If you liked this, keep on listening, because we've got 2 more episodes to finish out the first arc of our story, as well as some cool bonus content. The Bank Job one-off, and our first session of the Roundup, in which the cast answers questions about the show. Content warnings can be found in every episode description, and we hope you enjoy exploring this fantasy western with us. Thanks for listening.
My eyes shoot open to the early morning sun. I feel that aching, pounding, poking of a bullet in my lung. Skinny ceiling, bones crunching. I feel that wretched ancient something drag me up to face that coward son of a gun. His face goes white as he fumbles for his holster. I feel the lead pierce my shoulder, neck, and chest. I scream that I have died 100 times and lived 1,000 years, and I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best. Yes, I'll be damned if a boy like you's gonna be the best.
God, Tones and Bonesaw's accent, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I still want to introduce Goiter to the party in a way that isn't like whips him out to send after someone to hurt them. Just like
your little pocket abomination. Just you could use it as like the classic slip on a banana prank, but it's a slip on Goiter.
that would be delightful. Goiter would enjoy it. Let's be honest.
Goiter would be fine.
Goiter loves a good practical joke.